Hello, everyone, and welcome to an IGN Rewind Theater with me, Anthony Gallegos, and Andrew Goldfarb. Andrew Goldfarb, IGN's Andrew Goldfarb.
Good morning, Anthony.
So what we're seeing here is this is the intro video to the Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt DLC coming out for Borderlands, coming out January 15th.
Yep, I'm excited.
$9.99.
New raid boss.
Unless you got a season pass. Yeah,
right.
New raid boss.
Yeah, this is the third of the 4 pieces of content from the season pass.
And the way that it's presented is kind of presented in this old sort of the way that you would see like almost like a 1950s movie pre-roll.
Right. It's like one of those like adventure serials, almost like what Indiana Jones is based on, kind of thing.
Sure, or like the way that they would be like news from the world before you'd watch a movie that was like 3 months old. Well, this is like news from Pandora. So obviously, Sir Hammerlock is the star of this DLC. You know that from the name, and he didn't really get that much of a. I wouldn't say he really got that much of a spotlight in the main game.
Yeah, I mean, like he got a spotlight at the very beginning, like that first little section. But yeah, then he just kind of sits in Moxie's bar for the rest of the game.
So, this DLC takes place on a new continent called Agris, but you wouldn't know that. It's not like you take a boat to this new continent or anything like that. Just like the previous DLCs, the way you're going to access this is from any fast travel tournament. Travel to this zone called Hunter's Grotto. Boom, you load in, and this is actually the initial cutscene you see. So the premise of it is that you guys kind of start out doing a bunch of big game hunts together, but of course that evolves into something else. There are new creatures to fight, whatever this thing is. I forget actually what it's called.
Almost looks like a rad scorpion from Fallout 3.
It really does, right? But that's the thing, is there's new big game to hunt. You're going to fight some familiar creatures. Like during the time I was fighting it, I saw things that looked like bully monks or boner farts, if you want to call them that.
And see, this part right here, this is what excites me about this DLC. Obviously, some spoilers for people who have not completed Borderlands 2.
Right. This DLC assumes you have finished the game.
Yes, and that's what's cool about it. I mean, this obviously takes place after the end of Borderlands 2, and you'll see in a second when this. I guess this is these are some of the new enemies.
Yeah,
right?
they're like these group of like tribal themed enemies that.
Savages, they're called.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and so they've all become basically warriors that worship Handsome Jack. Again, if you haven't finished, stop listening right now. Because boom, they worship Handsome Jack.
And that's obviously Handsome Jack wears a mask for the entire game.
Right.
And you get when you beat the game, this is one of the custom heads that you can put on it, one of the customization stations. But yeah, I mean it's these guys are are they trying to resurrect Handsome Jack? Or they worship Handsome Jack? What's going on with this?
I think it's that they worship Handsome Jack, and so there's this other enemy who's a professor, and he's trying to resurrect Handsome Jack. He wants to clone him.
And who do you think made this statue? I mean,
I think it's just left over, right? It's on the world of
from
Pandora.
Opportunity.
So
they just brought
Jack
it over.
is he's egomaniacal. So he's had all these put up for a while.
True.
But yeah, so I think that's kind of what we'll see, is that the main quest will evolve, I guess, into this thing where it's no longer about hunting big game. It's about stopping these people from trying to resurrect Jack. Obviously, fighting these tribal enemies who are really cool. They do a lot of different things. As they level up into their badass versions, they become different. They start off as maybe just basic warriors, like these guys that wear the masks will throw spears. But then as they evolve, they'll turn into like invisible spear throwers called demon hunters, and or the warriors will turn into these guys that will do these constant rolls to get out of the way of your attacks that actually work really well.
And that's what's cool. I mean, the other DLCs have kind of, for all intents and purposes, been reskins of the enemies from the core game. So
sure,
it's cool seeing them try some different stuff.
Exactly, and there are reskinned enemies in this as well, but there are definitely plenty of new things to fight, new zones, new vehicles. The vehicle in this one does feel very similar to the Sand Skiff, but I think it's going to be a lot of kind of new, exciting content for people that are waiting to get more out of Borderlands. And that'll be out on the 15th for $9.99 across all platforms. And for a lot more on Borderlands, go to IGN.